If this was a community center, let's say that like these were letters posted at a community center.
If you were a fan of Dog the Bounty Hunter, then you definitely remember baby Lyssa, the fierce teenager with attitude, always ready to take on the big leagues and more than capable of holding her own.
Whoever comes in and does like what my dad did in the 90s is gonna have to take a lot of shit.
But after the cameras stopped rolling, Lyssa Chapman's life didn't just settle into peace. It spiraled into chaos. We're talking about arrests, messy breakups, headlines, and a jaw-dropping transformation that no one could have predicted. While some thought she quietly disappeared from the scene, the truth was she was rebuilding her entire life. And now, she's making headlines again, but not for chasing fugitives, wondering what happened to her and where she is now. Stick with us, because her comeback is anything but ordinary. Lyssa's early life was far from smooth. Her parents' relationship crumbled not long after she was born, and that split left scars. While other girls her age were busy playing with dolls or dreaming of a perfect family, all Lyssa wanted was to see her parents in the same room without a fight breaking out. After the divorce, she moved in with her dad in Denver. But they weren't alone. Her older sister Barbara, 5 years her senior, stepped up to help raise her. Life in their neighborhood wasn't exactly easy. Drugs and crime were everywhere. But Dog's reputation was enough to keep most of the danger at arm's length. Still, Dog was often busy with his bounty hunting work and constantly surrounded by women. Even so, Lyssa always saw herself as a daddy's girl, even if their family life didn't exactly match the image of a close-knit household. Things changed dramatically when she was 6, and the family relocated to Hawaii. Life on the islands was a strange blend of beauty and hardship. The whole family squeezed into a tiny studio apartment in Honolulu, barely making ends meet. But her dad had a way of making even the worst situations feel magical. Like the time he rented a flashy car, cruised around the city, and handed out candy like they were throwing their own personal parade. It was wild, chaotic, and a memory that stuck with her. But those good moments didn't erase the hard ones. As Dog's substance abuse escalated, Lyssa often found herself left in the care of her siblings. That meant a lot of lonely nights, endless TV reruns, and movies that were definitely not meant for kids. Looking back, Lyssa admitted that growing up like that left her completely confused about what normal even looked like. It took years, and a lot of painful mistakes, for her to start learning what healthy relationships were supposed to be. And while viewers assumed Lyssa and her dad shared a strong bond, the truth was far more complicated. At just 11 years old, she accused Dog of something terrible, saying that he had assaulted her. But later, Lyssa revealed that it wasn't her father, but someone close to him who had actually abused her. At the time, she was desperate to escape the fighting, the addiction, and the toxic atmosphere in her dad and Beth's household. When she moved to Alaska to live with her mother, she hoped for peace, but found a different kind of chaos. Her mom was battling her own demons, particularly with alcohol. Still, Alaska gave Lyssa something she hadn't felt in a long time: stability. She had friends at school and, for once, a sense of purpose. She decided she wasn't going back. Her mom believed her story about Dog right away, though Lyssa later admitted that was probably more about her mom's resentment toward Dog than actual evidence. But while most kids her age were worrying about homework or school dances, Lyssa was dealing with something much heavier. At just 14, she found out she was pregnant. Her daughter, Abby Mae, was born the day after Lyssa's 15th birthday. The father? A man in his 20s who later pled guilty to statutory rape. It was a brutal turning point, forcing Lyssa to grow up far too soon. By the time she joined Dog the Bounty Hunter in 2005, Lyssa was only 18, but already had years of parenting under her belt. Being a teen mom was hard enough, but without real support, it was nearly impossible. Her relationship with her mother fell apart. After Abby was born, her mom moved in with a boyfriend, and left Lyssa alone in a trailer with her newborn and demanded $500 a month in rent. She tried to scrape by with babysitting jobs, but it was barely enough to survive. And her relationship with Dog was still rocky. Lyssa once admitted that during that time, she truly felt hopeless, like there was nothing ahead of her but struggle. Alone, broke, and overwhelmed in Alaska, she was just surviving one day at a time with her baby girl. When she finally joined the show, Dog the Bounty Hunter was already airing, but Lyssa had never even watched a single episode. Her family didn't have cable. So when she showed up in Hawaii to film season 2, the cameras were a total shock. Producers hyped her arrival by naming the episode "Baby's Back in Town," marking her return after 6 years away. By then, Lyssa was trying to rebuild her relationship with Dog. For the first time in years, she was starting to believe she could have some control over her life. Things were looking up. But then, in 2007, scandal hit. Dog was caught on tape using racist slurs, and the show was pulled off the air. It eventually returned, but the damage was done. The whole situation was a harsh reminder. Life in the public eye was messy, and fame came with consequences. In 2013, Lyssa decided to share her story with the world in a powerful way. She released a memoir titled "Walking on Eggshells: Discovering Strength and Courage Amid Chaos." The inspiration for the book came from countless people telling her that her life sounded almost unbelievable. She realized that if opening up about her journey could help or inspire even one person, it would be worth it. With support from a major publisher, she brought the book to life. Within its pages, Lyssa bravely revealed the details of an abusive relationship that had haunted her for years. It didn't start with bruises. It started with rough grabs, subtle pushes, but it escalated over time. Even while pregnant and during those early years raising her children, the violence never truly stopped. One terrifying day, things nearly turned fatal when he grabbed her by the throat and slammed her to the floor. In that moment, she genuinely believed it might be the end, but something inside her shifted. Gathering her strength, she packed up her daughters, then just 11 and 3 years old, and walked away from the abuse. The journey to freedom was long and messy. It took months to get him out of her home, to officially file for divorce, and to start rebuilding her life. Lyssa later spoke about how confusing that kind of relationship can be. Even after everything, she didn't hate him. Instead, she compared it to loving someone with a deep addiction, a sickness you can't cure. She had to learn that real love sometimes means walking away, no matter how hard it is. After her time on Dog the Bounty Hunter, Lyssa didn't just disappear from the public eye. She started developing a new show focused on teen moms, aiming to provide them with genuine support, help with employment, emotional guidance, and real resources. To her, the media often sent mixed signals about teen pregnancy, either shaming young mothers or sensationalizing them. Lyssa wanted to offer something raw and authentic. She even partnered with Bunny Murray and held discussions with MTV about the concept. The plan was to showcase the everyday struggles and victories of young moms. Unfortunately, the timing didn't work out, and the project never moved forward. Even though the show didn't air, Lyssa didn't completely step away from television. In 2014, she guest starred in an episode of Hawaii 5-0 and made brief appearances on Dog and Beth, On the Hunt, a spin-off featuring her father and stepmother Beth. However, as she later explained on the Rumor Mill podcast, her interest in reality TV had changed. If she ever returned to the screen, she wanted it to be for something meaningful, something closer to a documentary that could truly make a difference. Beyond work, Lyssa's life has been filled with both growth and heartache. As the years passed, her perspective on her father began to shift. She came to see Dwayne not just as Dog the Bounty Hunter, but as a father who, in his own flawed way, really tried his best. Their relationship grew stronger, particularly during one of the family's most difficult periods. Beth's cancer diagnosis in 2017. Beth had been dealing with a lingering cough before doctors discovered it was stage 2 throat cancer. Despite the grim news, Beth chose to fight, determined to beat it. Dwayne was visibly emotional in interviews, desperate to protect his wife. For a brief moment after surgery, it seemed like she might pull through. But by 2018, the cancer had returned aggressively. They shared Beth's battle with the world through a TV special, Dog and Beth, Fight of Their Lives. Yet behind the scenes, tensions between Beth and Lyssa were growing. Beth claimed their feud began when Lyssa ignored her on Mother's Day in 2019, sparking a very public falling out. Social media quickly became a battleground. Beth publicly called Lyssa inappropriate, and Lyssa fired back, making it clear she wasn't going to engage with what she called nonsense. Fans got involved too, some supporting Lyssa, others criticizing her. Lyssa didn't stay silent. She openly clapped back at critics, standing her ground against anyone who tried to drag her down. Despite the online drama, Beth chose to focus on the positive. Mainly her son, Gary D., whom she shared with Dwayne. In May 2019, Beth even shared lighthearted tweets about Gary and exchanged playful posts with Dog, which briefly lifted her spirits. Gary, for his part, was starting to carve his own path in the bounty hunting world, following in the family's footsteps. As for Lyssa, she found her own ways to stay grounded, often talking about her love for shows like Naked and Afraid, and even mentioning that Dustin Duck Campbell was one of her favorites. But then came the family's greatest heartbreak: Beth's passing in 2019 at just 51 years old. Dog broke the news publicly, sharing that it happened at 5:32 in the morning, the same time Beth usually started her daily hike at Cocoa Head. But that morning, he said, she climbed a different mountain. At Beth's memorial in Waimanalo, Lyssa honored her with a touching post, a photo of her daughter holding Dog's hand with the caption expressing how utterly speechless she felt. She also shared an old video of herself and Beth pranking Dog and Tim, reminiscing about how the women used to run the boys. Later, Dwayne worked to set the record straight, explaining that the rumors of a bitter feud were blown out of proportion. According to him, they had genuinely made peace before Beth's death, and there was no need for last-minute reconciliations or pity. It was real. But by early 2020, more family drama surfaced. Just 6 months after Beth's death, news broke that Dwayne had begun dating again. His new partner? Moon Angel, a woman who had worked as Beth's assistant for over 2 decades, and had even previously dated one of Lyssa's brothers. For Lyssa, this felt like betrayal. She voiced her frustration publicly, accusing Moon of trying to replace Beth far too soon and questioning her motives given her close ties to the family. The situation escalated when Dog proposed to Moon on live television during an episode of the Dr. Oz show. It was dramatic, full of tears and surprises, but behind the scenes, insiders said Moon may have been swept up in the moment. Meanwhile, Lyssa was anything but quiet about her feelings. When a follower tried to defend Dog, suggesting he deserved companionship, Lyssa snapped back with sharp criticism, making her stance crystal clear. To make matters worse, Lyssa soon faced legal trouble of her own. In January 2020, she was arrested in Hawaii for allegedly harassing someone and resisting arrest. Lyssa shared her side with The Sun, saying it all started after an argument with her girlfriend, with both of them drinking at the time. She insisted that nothing physical had happened and claimed the police were unnecessarily rough. But court documents painted a more serious picture, stating that she made unwanted contact with officers twice, which led to the harassment charge. Determined to fight back, Lyssa promised to challenge the charges and even filed a formal complaint against the officers involved. She called the whole ordeal embarrassing, not just for herself, but for her family too. But despite all the drama, things between Lyssa and Dog gradually began to calm down. In March, Lyssa shared a heartfelt family reunion photo from Hawaii, saying it felt good to reconnect. Then, in May 2020, when Dog announced his engagement to Francie Frayne, Lyssa didn't just accept the news, she openly supported it. She even gave Francie a warm shout-out on Instagram, letting the world know she was ready to move forward. Later, Dog and Francie sat down with Entertainment Tonight to talk about how grief had brought them together. Dog had called Francie's home, not realizing that her husband had recently passed away, too. From that moment, their bond deepened. They leaned on each other through the heartbreak of losing Beth and Bob, and soon their connection turned into something more. By 2021, Dog and Francie were married. But the wedding wasn't without controversy. Two of Dog's daughters, Bonnie and Cecily, were left off the guest list. They told the press they believed it was because they reminded Dog too much of Beth. Bonnie took things further, making serious accusations against her father, claiming he'd used racist and homophobic slurs during filming and insisting that he hadn't really changed from his old ways. Lyssa, on the other hand, stood by Dog. Not only did she attend the wedding, but she also defended his relationship publicly, saying they were in a healthy place and expressing hope that the rest of the family could eventually find peace, too. For better or worse, Lyssa seemed committed to the idea of healing, both with herself and with her father. Then, in December 2022, she shared a deeply personal milestone on Facebook. She had been sober for a year and a half, but the road to that achievement hadn't been easy. Addiction had cast long shadows over her family for years. Lyssa's mother, Lyssa Ray Britton, battled substance abuse, and those early experiences shaped much of Lyssa's life. Eventually, she fell into similar patterns, drinking and using substances at a young age. Things reached a breaking point in 2011 when Lyssa was arrested for disturbing the peace. She later explained that someone had spiked her drink, leaving her confused and disoriented in the middle of the street late at night. Even after that incident, she struggled to stay sober, going through periods of drinking on and off for years. It wasn't until 2021 that something truly changed. One night, her dog got sick, but Lyssa couldn't drive to the vet because she had been drinking. Sitting in that waiting room, tipsy and helpless with her sick dog beside her, she was struck by a single thought. What if this was my kid? That moment of clarity hit her hard and became the turning point. She pushed herself through the first 30 days of sobriety, and from there, her progress steadily grew. When she celebrated 18 months sober in late 2022, she admitted the holidays were challenging, but she was determined to stay the course. Around that same time, things got complicated again between Lyssa and her father. During a Facebook live stream, Dog made harsh, inflammatory remarks about Dylan Mulvaney and the LGBTQ+ community, even suggesting violence. The backlash was immediate, especially since Lyssa herself is part of that community. Lyssa stepped forward to publicly apologize to Dylan and the trans community, saying the words her father used didn't reflect the man she thought she knew growing up. She admitted she couldn't explain why he said what he did, and though she still loved her dad, she was honest about being worried, especially about the kind of media content he had been consuming lately. Her sister Bonnie also condemned Dog's comments, calling them horrifying. Yet despite her disappointment, Lyssa continued to defend her father. She told her followers that she genuinely believed Dog always loved her and supported her. When accusations of racism and homophobia resurfaced, Lyssa fought back, claiming that her sisters were twisting the truth and aligning themselves with old acquaintances who didn't have the family's best interests at heart. Through all the family turbulence, Lyssa focused on building her own life. She had been married before to Beau Galanti, and they shared a daughter, Madeline. Though that marriage ended, Lyssa never gave up on love. In 2016, she met Lyssa Green, and in 2022, they got married in an intimate beach ceremony in Hawaii. The wedding was simple and full of meaning. A handful of close family members, ocean waves gently rolling nearby, and Lyssa's uncle David officiating the ceremony. Her daughters, Madeline and Abby, were there, along with her new in-laws. Lyssa called it a dream day and admitted that there were times in her life when she didn't believe she deserved that kind of happiness. Both brides wore white, Lyssa in a flowing maxi dress, Lyssa in a button-down shirt and shorts, with vibrant flower crowns completing the look. Afterward, Lyssa posted a heartfelt message about still being in disbelief that she got to spend her life by Lyssa's side. Although Dog didn't attend the wedding in person, Lyssa made it clear there was no animosity. He'd been on the phone with her all morning, even during the ceremony. Dog told People magazine that returning to Hawaii was still too painful for him after losing Beth. Still, Lyssa said her father had always supported her relationship and her happiness. By 2024, Lyssa was hinting at a professional comeback. She posted a throwback bounty hunting photo and announced she was preparing to retake her bail license test. Fans flooded her page with encouragement. She explained that she'd let her license lapse after leaving the show, but now wanted to be ready, whether that meant going back to bounty hunting full-time or just keeping her options open. Either way, she made it clear that the Chapman name wasn't finished yet. At the same time, Lyssa fully embraced a new chapter as an OnlyFans creator. Welcoming 2025, she posted a carousel of beachside photos, relaxed, sunlit, and radiating confidence. She showed off her tribal shoulder tattoo, a vibrant floral bikini, and peaceful shots of chickens and rainbows by her side. Fans praised her authenticity and celebrated her for being unapologetically herself. From rocky beginnings to sobriety milestones, from family feuds to finding true love, from chasing fugitives to coastal serenity, Lyssa's story keeps unfolding. And if she's taught anyone anything, it's this: second chances don't just exist, they're transformative.